It's $1 in this way.
Oh, I'm in the wrong page. There we go. I might have to stop that and start that bit again. We'll see. No, I'm not uploading.
Riding on the wall.
Somebody's feeling nice. Damn it.
I feel
Oh,
great.
we're already live. Your singing was just live.
I couldn't care less. I can't sing for shit anyway.
Hang on.
Hold on, let me.
Where are we? Let me take a look.
Man, we haven't done a live in a while.
A few weeks. We are. Yeah, we're live now anyway. Let me turn the audio.
Oh, well, we haven't done a live in a while, haven't we?
No. That's why it's going to take a while to remember how to do it all. So we're going to live chat. We're going to pop that sucker out. That sounded wrong. I'll put you over here. Oh, and I've got to, yeah, that's what I haven't set up for this page yet. I haven't set up the live window chat thing. So let me have a look. Moving it over here out of the way for a sec. Add. Go capture. Okie dokie. Oh, there you go, straight away. Bedoing.
Oh, cool. Nice.
I don't think, I haven't even had a look to see if there's anybody watching. Oh, there's 3 people watching already. They're watching all the silly stuff.
Yeah, there's the good stuff.
Dion's in. Hey, mate, how are you? I need to make that a bit bigger so we can actually see what everybody is saying.
Oh, yeah, I better do that, eh?
What's that?
See what everyone's saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just
We'll put that there. Oh, shares buds.
Yes, bud. Morgan Mindy.
Yep. So we'll put you in there like that. Blending mood. Now we've got to get the right one. Oh, look at that first pop.
1 and a 2 and a ping pong potato.
Skibiding.
It's so easy to make Fernando laugh.
I mean, because lately I've always been in a good mood.
Well, that's not a bad thing.
Especially my Friday mornings with you guys, of course.
All right, so anybody wanting to take part in this quiz has to be in the chat room, and we should really be able to see you so you're answering the questions. The thing is, I think with the time difference, we've got to wait that 20 seconds or whatever it is for the answers to start popping up because there's a bit of a delay.
Yeah, it is like 20 seconds actually.
And that's on the shortest latency. So we've got 4 people in. It's not really enough for it. It's not really enough for a quiz at the moment, but hopefully we'll get some more in.
Oh. Don't lie, Fernando. It's the drugs.
Oh man, for me it's a Friday morning. I gotta go. I work later.
Fernando likes.
I'm sorry. I meant to say I don't do drugs.
I was gonna say, didn't you say you supported Miguel in feeding his family for that cocaina?
I'm sorry.
It's a picture that I sent around. It's got a little picture of this Mexican boy in a coca farm. And it's like, please help Miguel feed his family. Every time you buy a bag, it sends food his way.
God.
We are not politically correct. Apparently.
I don't think you were supposed to say that on YouTube Live.
I said a bag. It could have been a Louis Vuitton. Who knows?
Yeah, yeah. You're right. When you write, you write.
Well, we've got 4 people watching, but only one person in the chat room, so it's going to be a pretty one-sided quiz if we went like that. We need people to come into the chat room.
If Dion loses the quiz, there's something wrong.
He'd do anything for a free T-shirt, won't he?
Really?
I don't know. I'm sure we'll find out in about 20 seconds.
He has to wear a mankini to the next public hunt.
Oh, God, no.
Oh man, I can't wait to hear about.
I wondered where you were going for a sec then. We talked about him wearing a mankini to the next, and he goes, "Oh, I can't wait."
Whoa.
Jeez.
What happened?
Cool your jets, Fernando.
Yes.
I don't understand what happened. What, did it freeze?
We were talking about someone having to wear a mankini at a public hunt. You're like, I can't wait, and we're both gone.
What?
Man, you guys, bro. You guys. I meant to say that I can't wait to hear the stories about the public hunt.
Well,
It was interesting.
it was. It's probably one of the most positively active places that we've been there before, but it's probably the most positive outcome that we've had on a public hunt. And it wasn't even.
Yeah, I've got no idea what actually happened there, simply because of the fact that we had a lot of people cancel out beforehand, and we thought, okay, well, I thought, cool, it's going to be a smaller group, not a problem for the tunnel. It'll probably work better anyway. And then we actually ended up with a whole load of people hanging around after that because they walked in as we were doing it, and they were super interested in it. And I think a couple of people had some pretty profound experiences that weren't part of our original group.
Mm.
So speaking of which, that guy there, I've still got to put that video together for him. So I'll get that done over the weekend.
Did anyone get his contact details?
He's added me on Facebook, so I've got his name. I can send it to you in the chat.
Yeah,
after.
please do. So I wouldn't mind getting a hold of him, talking to him, seeing how he's going, because that was that's a lot to take in.
Oh, he
going for a random walk.
Yeah, he was going for a walk with mates, and he walked out with some very life-changing, potentially life-changing experiences, and a lot of, actually, from what we were getting, a lot of validation to a lot of stuff that's going on.
Yep.
But wait, what location did you guys end up going? Because it sounds like a park.
We went to the Swanview Tunnel.
Oh.
And I sat inside a pentagram.
Yeah, some devil worshippers have been there before, and they left the pentagram on the floor, so that's where we set up. And I don't know if it's just pure coincidence, but whether that had anything to do with the activity being heightened. I don't know.
No,
So-
that sounds amazing. That sounds amazing.
It was interesting.
I put one of Gary's K2s right in the middle of the pentagram. He's like, oh, now I've got to walk in there.
To grab it. He's an asshole.
I've got no problems walking into those things, man. Like,
Oh
man, yeah.
Oh, has anybody posted?
Pentagrams on
Has anybody posted in the page that we're live now?
I've done it.
If you can, that'd be good. So we've got 4 people. Like I said, we've still got 4 people watching. We've got 1 extra subscriber.
One of them's probably me. So I can read.
Yeah, it won't count me because I'm the one that's running it. But if you guys have got it up, it might count you two. And then Dion said there's still one other person unaccounted for that's not in the chat. Like I said, it's all Dion at the moment. It's pretty much a one-sided.
Fernando, there is no getting your partner in the chat so you can win a shirt. You've got all the answers.
We will go over the rules if we actually do get this thing off the ground tonight, because there's no point in starting it if we've only got one person. Not much of a quiz then. So where are we? We're still.
I mean,
unless it's changing, but I've got my screen shows 4 people. What was that?
No, I was saying that after reading a couple of these questions, these are pretty awesome questions.
Man, I was pulling them out of my head. I was gonna, yeah, out of my head, not out of my out of my ass. For the last few days, I think for the last few days, I ended up with probably 5 or 6 questions. In the last hour, I got the rest of them. And these are all out of my bloody head. They're not from any lists or anything like that, because I purposely did that so people didn't go looking up paranormal quiz questions. Like, this is where he's getting them from, and I know what the next one's going to be. So I was not doing that. So these ones, and you will be able to tell when you're people. If we do get the quiz going anyway, you will be able to tell that they are very much personalised questions. So,
Yes.
Fernando sees
Smart
someone.
way about it, yeah.
Well, there is a plan to my
Fernando-
madness.
Fernando wouldn't be able to answer a third of them because he hasn't watched all the episodes at the start and the finish. And the
Yeah,
middle.
I know. You proved that last week.
You guys,
How many more episodes have you watched since we recorded?
I actually, you know what?
He
I
hasn't.
actually saw the one. No, I saw the Demarest one. Obviously, I saw that
How
one. I saw,
was your
why,
favourite
how
one?
could you watch the Demarest one? Because that was an audio recording, not a video recording.
no,
There
I'm
was
sorry,
pictures
not the
put with it.
Demarest. It was the Ben Hansen. That's
Ah.
the one.
Anyway, we
Ben
shouldn't
Hansen.
What was-
we shouldn't be talking about all of these. Remember?
I didn't read all the questions, so I
Well,
don't-
yeah, shush. Damn, that's got everybody all prepped now. I'm going to write down this name and I'm going to write down that name because I know they're going to come up soon. Oh shit! I'm crap with quizzes. Everyone will know every question before I've even bloody started.
oh man.
Hey, you want to hear something funny? You know how I started a new job this week? I didn't tell the guys where I used to work where I was going. And tonight we had a big work party. It was like a work family thing. And had pizza, wood-fired pizzas going there. McDonald's
Hard
were
chips?
doing their stuff. No bloody... there was chips at the McDonald's thing. And all these other things, lots of stuff for the kids to play on. While I sat there having a bit of pizza, I look up and I recognise this guy and I go, it was the building manager from the company I've just left. And he was looking like... So, cat's out the bag there, I think. And then every time, anywhere within Kauai, he was watching and he was like, how dare you, because there were 3 of us that were working in my department where I was working. Hey, Adam, fuck, there's a blast from the past.
Hey, I actually saw Adam not that long ago.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, anyway, what I was saying, there was 3 of us that worked there. There was the guy that's been there for like 15 years, and then there's a guy that's been there for a few months, and then there was myself. Well, obviously I left, but they were both on holidays the week I left, so I worked through until the Fridays, and then they came back on the Monday. Well, I found out today that the senior that came back on the Monday handed his notice in on the Monday as well. So they've gone from having a full team down to one drafty who's been there for about 3 or 4 months.
Obviously, they aren't really accommodating and
Well,
fair with their employees.
you know my reasoning for leaving, but
Yeah, I know.
I'm in a good place at the moment. So
Well,
we've
Adam's in here.
got
Adam,
5
Peyton-
watching. So I'm assuming it's Adam. Is Adam lucky enough
Peyton-
still to have a bike that's working?
He does.
Bastard!
He's got 2 bikes.
Oh, I'll just rub it in now. So Adam is now
One works,
officially
one works, one doesn't.
Adam is officially not allowed in the quiz because he has 2 bikes.
Why?
Whether one's working or one's not. Mine's not.
Mine is.
Yeah, but yeah. Anyway, you're not part of the quiz anyway, so that doesn't matter.
I might ride mine to work tomorrow if it's not raining.
What are you that unconfident that one other person comes in and you can't win. Oh, Dion.
Shit, if it's only the two, they can both have a shirt.
Well, there are two shirts on offer. So
Adam Payton absolutely loves Hey Hey. Won't let Hey Hey go.
how many people? We've got 5 in. I said we probably needed 10 before we could do a quiz, but
I mean, if you get 5 people talking, it's good enough.
I just posted right now.
I did.
Facebook. So
Do you know what? I just realised I posted up in there and forgot to put the link with it.
no.
Yep.
I thought it said something about his holy sock. I was going to say I don't want to know what's going on with his socks. Whether it's his special sock or not.
Well, all socks have holes in them. How are you supposed to get your feet in there?
Yes.
Guys.
Fernando's going, drop this quick.
Sorry, Fernando.
Now you guys get
Fernando.
Okay, I'll do my sexier voice, yeah? Fernando.
I just got an awesome recommendation right here.
All right, there we go. That's enough of that. Oh, whatever that was scared somebody off. We've gone back to 4 people.
It's all right. Next time I'm in the car with Peyton,
Yeah.
I'll be like, when I drive past some cows, hey, look, Peyton, a flock of cows. And then when she goes, herd of cows, Dad, I'll be like, I've heard of them. There's a flock of them right over there.
Oh, man. Oh, well. We can always do the quiz another night if it doesn't bloody pick up, but I've got all these questions all prepared and everything. All right, we'll even if we've got 5 people, we'll do it.
Hey, Fernando.
Yeah.
Have you heard of a dick do?
Sorry.
Have you heard of a dick do?
No.
He's very careful about how he responds.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Do you know what it
I've
is?
been burned by you before.
Do you know what it is?
I have never even heard of it.
All right.
It's just that it has a word in there that sounds a little sus.
No, just dick do. One word.
No, it's still in there. It's still in there. I don't know. So what is it?
What's what?
You're gonna make me say it.
What's what?
That word that you just said.
What?
Yeah, what?
He's just told you it about 3 times. You're the one that's gone all silly about saying it.
No, I'm saying because I've been burned before, so I'm just being careful.
What's what?
Dion's gone, yeah, we can always reschedule and turn this into a Q&A if the numbers are low. So if you've got questions, I mean, we're probably not going to be starting for a little bit anyway, but if you want to ask some questions, you can. Then if we get the numbers up, we'll start the quiz, and then at the end of the night, whoever's got... Shit, I better get a pen and paper, eh?
You try and ask Fernando if he knows what something is, and he just...
Ignores you. See, we are very high-tech here with our answering system. There we go. Here's me waving around my company logo, telling everybody where I work. My very cool pen. Man, this thing is really weak. I sounded like bloody Elmer Fudd then. This thing is really, really heavy. 1, 2, 3.
Fernando.
6, 7. Talk amongst yourselves.
What?
No, I'm just writing down the number of questions.
When you said that, I'm like, what's what?
Well, for tonight's quiz, we've got 25 questions anyway, so.
What's it they do?
You just got it. Think about what you just said.
I know. That's why I didn't want to say it. Oh my god. Oh, we have a question for you, Gary.
For me,
Yeah, for you.
what was this? What's the question? Oh, that. No, well, hang on. Yeah, I'll talk about that in a minute.
Oh, Gary, I got him to ask, what's a dick do? I thought he was old enough to know.
It obviously depends on how you're holding it and what buttons you're pushing.
It's like those thingamajigs.
Oh my
Yep.
god.
That's exactly it.
Oh, do you know what the best thing is? It's all on recording and live on YouTube.
It is.
Yeah,
It is.
That is the reason why, you know.
Well, we're dropping off again. We had 6, now we're back to 5. So I don't know if we're ever going to get enough for this quiz, but
They were ashamed he didn't know what's a dick do.
Oh boy.
I don't know.
Man.
Anyway, this UFO. All right. So when I was 7 years old, I was in bed one night, and we had a semi-detached house, and my bedroom was the only bedroom at the back, and I had this weird feeling that I had to just. My bed head actually butted up against the window in the corner of the room, and I just felt this need to look out the curtains. And when I looked out the curtains, straight out, I didn't see anything. But then when I looked to my right, about 2 houses over, there was a house, the Cassie family. And I always remember them because they had this big detached workshop out the back where there was a pit because the dad was a mechanic, and you drive the car in, and obviously they'd walk down into the pit underneath and they could work underneath the car. So we used to always have fun playing there and stuff like that. Anyway, behind that was this giant oak tree. And when I looked out the window to my right, it was a summer's evening in England. And for anybody who's been to England, and then they'll know what I'm talking about when the sky's like that dirty, light brown sort of colour. And you can see a long way. You know, it's not like a pitch black night like you get here. And I looked up, and there was this disc hovering above the oak tree. It was a metallic disc, a silvery colour with orange glowing lights around the edge on the underside. I couldn't see any lights on the top, but there was a slight little dome there. And it was just slowly rotating. It wasn't anything fast. It was totally silent. And the circumference of the disc was almost the same. I mean, it might not have been exact, but it was pretty much the same as the oak tree. So I'm putting it at probably 10 to 15 meters around. And I watched it for probably, I don't know, because you sort of lose track of time. And I was watching it for maybe a couple of minutes. And then I had this really creepy feeling that something was behind me, because I literally had my whole face up against the window. And I had this feeling that something was behind me. And I sort of retreated into a 7-year-old's solitude of fortress, which is pulling the sheets over you and nothing can touch you then. And I had this feeling that something was coming up, and was sort of standing over the sheets. I don't know if anything was. All I know is I blanked out. And then when I came to again, I looked up and back to the window, and I looked to the side, and it was gone. But when I sort of scanned the sky, I sort of looked around and to the left a little bit, and I just sort of go up and away. And
it was Santa Claus.
No, it wasn't that time of the year. And yeah, I told my parents about it the next morning, and I was shit scared all night. And I couldn't even get out of the bed to go and tell them. But in the morning, I told them, and because obviously when everything's light, you feel safer. And they told me that it was my imagination and everything like that. And it wasn't until the next night, when the news came on at 6 o'clock, that there had been reports all across the area, multiple reports of people had seen the same UFO, or had seen a UFO. And that was my first ever. I've had 3 encounters with this same thing over the next few years. And I have been told by psychics that without me telling them any of this story, that there are still encounters happening that I'm just not remembering. So I can't comment one way or the other on that. But I had a couple of other encounters with the same thing over the next few years. And that's what started me off, because I wanted to find out what it was. And I'd heard the term UFO on the news. So I went looking for them at, like, when my mum would go into the town, I said, can we go into the library? I want to have a look. And I asked, and they said, no, we don't have anything on flying saucers to give you the crazy look, especially as a 7-year-old. But they said there's a little section over there on unexplained phenomenon. And I'd look through these. I mean, I was at that point, it was looking through books, flicking at photos to see what was of interest, and then you try to read up on it. And at 7, there's a lot of big words that I didn't understand at the time. But that piqued my interest because I saw stuff on spontaneous human combustion, about ghosts, spirits, Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster was in it. I've been to Loch Ness. So all these strange and weird things have just fired my brain ever since I was a young bloke, and that's what's kept me going. So what year was the first encounter, and what town did you grow up in? That would have been 1976, and that was in a town in the north of England. And it was just a little township where I grew up, so it was all across the area, so there would have been several towns, but North Yorkshire, and that's where it was. So you may find something if you go looking for it, but I've only found a few little tidbits here and there. But yeah, that set me on this path, which I'm still on now, and I've been doing this, well, you know how old I am now, so it's getting close. For 50 years I've been researching the unexplained and the weird and the wonderful. So I mean, obviously it's not quite as full on as what we're doing now. In the early years, it's just reading up and gaining an understanding and that interest. And because I grew up in the north of England, there were a lot of haunted places around and abandoned places. I mean, we had castles, we had all sorts of stuff close by, the old Viking burial mounds up on the moors and stuff. So we were absolutely surrounded by that kind of stuff. And yeah, it was, it's what set me on this path. So we're not going to have enough for a quiz, I don't think, not tonight. So it's from Aylesbury, personally.
Throughout your journey, do you think you've ever been abducted?
I've been told I have. I don't have any recollection of it, but I've been told it's happened to me several times, and they actually reckon that first one. It's funny enough because the original psychic for our team back when we started it 15, 16 years ago, she used to do psychic sessions with all of us to try and get everybody in tune, and she's the one that opened up some of these, I suppose you call them like repressed memories and things like that. And it wasn't from my point of view. I saw something from a different point of view. Like, she had me walking up the front path of my own house that we lived in at the time.
Yep.
And then through the front door and then up the steps, and then the door opening, and then me stepping inside. But as I stepped inside, something was coming through behind me, and it was what you would call like a grey alien. So I was stood there almost like a bystander in this weird kind of not being able to interact or anything, and it was looking at me. And it was at that point that I saw myself pull the covers up. So that was at the point where I had this feeling there was something behind me. I remember that feeling, but that's when I went past that. I don't know what happened after that, but I just saw it start to walk towards us. And there have been 2 other occasions. One, when I was with friends, and they witnessed it. We all witnessed it. We moved out of that house into a new suburb that was being built, and we were all kids, and we were doing silly things because there was all the all the works were being put in for new roads and things like that, and they had these big pipes that we would go running through them, which were obviously going to go on the ground and be drain pipes and stuff like that. And I was there with two others at the time. There were three of us, and we all witnessed the very same craft come hovering over. So that would have been fairly early at night. Now, I don't remember if there were any reports on that one, but I definitely saw that. And they both saw it, and it freaked them out, and they would never talk about it again. And they haven't talked about it again. And there's a couple of friends of mine, Jason and Chris, they were the ones that were with me when I saw it. And yeah, the other thing that happened, we lived in a thing called a bungalow, which if you don't know any different, it's like a single story house. There's no stairs and everything. The bedrooms are all on the ground floor. All the rooms are on the ground floor. Well, I shared a room with my brother, and the third one, again, it's through my memory anyway. I had this same feeling. My bed was by the window because I was the oldest. So I got up on my knees. It was at night time because I would be kneeling on my bed and my chin would sit on the windowsill because it was, a few feet up. And as I opened the curtains, right there in front, closer than Jeremy was when we did our first episode, was what I describe to this day as a skull looking straight at me with what I describe something similar to like a German officer's hat from the Second World War. It's weird, I know that, but that is what I saw, and it wasn't until I saw that film, The Fourth Kind, with Mila Jovovich, whatever her name is, about the abductions that happened up in Nome, Alaska, and they all described seeing a white owl at the window, and that was before they got abducted. But when you morph that white owl, the eyes go black and elongated, the face is all white, you have a grey alien. Now, I saw a skull. So the eyes, the eye sockets are big dark holes against a white skull. So see, it gets to me when I think about this, but I'm sure I actually came that close to that I remember, possibly an extraterrestrial being. And again, I don't know any more than that, but it changed my life, and I'm doing what I'm doing now. So,
how was that guy that came through at the very start? He wasn't happy with how we were speaking to spirits.
I haven't heard any more from him. He wasn't very happy with how, because that one spirit, that nasty spirit, I don't think I was disrespectful. I certainly spoke my mind to him and got him to chat, and that's how we always get this spirit to react with us. But that's the kind of thing that he would have reacted to in real life. He wouldn't have reacted to being nice. And as I said to him, I said, I'm not a nasty person. I don't go out and abuse every spirit to get a reaction. The ones that try things like that, if I went to a school or something like that with the kids there, definitely not, or a nursing home or a hospital, no. But if you're going into a prison, you don't get respect from a prisoner unless you show them what you're about. It's the same with any kind of spirit which had that kind of mindset, and this spirit definitely has that kind of mindset. So that's what you've got to do to get reaction. And this guy, he wasn't very happy with how we were speaking. I mean, he was definitely a very spiritual person, and I did hear what he had to say, and I did absorb a lot of it, and I did take it on. But I think he also understood eventually where I was coming from, that no, that's not how I react with every spirit. Certain spirits you have to deal with in a certain way to get the most out of the interaction. So
Yeah.
he left quite happy, wishing us all the best. Like I said, I don't know if he would want us to share everything that happened in that video. I do have it, and I will put it all up there for those who were there to see. And I've got that other part for that gentleman that we were talking about who had a very profound experience. I said to him that I would cut that section out because that is not something we can put for the public to watch, because there's some very private and some very serious issues in that he has to deal with. So he wouldn't want other people looking in, and it could potentially risk securities and things like that. So I'm not going to do that, but I'm going to post that to a unlisted link, and I'm going to send him the link to it so he can watch it and get what he needs to get from
Share
it.
it.
Yeah. So
were you speaking about something that happened on the public hunt?
yeah, this last one.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It went off.
Okay.
It was crazy. Considering we had one, two, three for that. Then there was that couple with their two friends as well
Yeah.
that joined in with us. That's 4 there, plus the 3 that started at the start with us.
Yep.
Plus the 3 other guys with the one with that recording.
Yep.
Oh, so it was a pretty big group.
Well, they weren't with us at the
plus
start.
us as well. Yeah,
They were just
weren't even
they were complete
They were
strangers at the start.
they were walk-ins.
Yeah. Here we go, Fernando. We have a question for you.
What's up?
Okay. Dion is going. Can I? Oh, and Jeremy. Can I ask Fernando and Jeremy what started you both out on your journey into the paranormal?
Fernando, you can take that one to start with.
So, what started me on my journey is my very first experience with the paranormal. How? Let's see. So, I live in Florida now. I used to live in New York, Brooklyn, New York, and I lived in an apartment with, my family. I was pretty much like 12, I want to say like 12 years old. So one night, something happened. I always tell the story in the aspect of everybody has heard of the boogeyman, something coming out of the closet and all this and that. Now, I'm not saying I was visited by the boogeyman. I'm saying that something came out of my closet. So, the way how everything just kind of manifested, it actually left a pretty traumatic, I would say, um, I can't sleep with a open door. I have to have all doors closed. If there's a door open, I am restless. I feel anxiety. It's heart pounding. And all this stuff. So yeah, and I'm 42 years old. So for a grown ass man not being able to sleep with a door open is pretty. I don't know. But yeah, so the whole thing happened with. First, I saw what I thought was, 'cause, I lived in Brooklyn, New York, so it's not the cleanest area. We did have roaches in our apartment. So at first, I thought it was roaches coming out of my closet. I guess a very important detail to point out is that my room was painted all white. So when you see anything crawling on these white walls, you can notice it very easily. So I thought it was roaches, and it ended up, it kind of almost fused into like a hand, because it was actually the fingers, and then it was like the hand coming out, and then the clothes in my closet was rattling to the point where I noticed that, do you know how like when you have a bunch of clothes and you kind of just dig your hand in it and spread, just to, that is what actually, that's what happened. And then I saw the top part of a head, like peek through. at this point, I'm already paralyzed. I can't really, move, scream, or anything. So, what actually got me to let out this, dare I say, a female scream, uh, was when I saw the red eyes. Once I saw the red eyes, that's when I kind of, just started screaming. My father busted through the door, and yeah, that's all she wrote. That's my personal experience. But I actually started investigating. I have over 20 years now. Throughout junior, well, here is junior high school or middle school, and then you go to high school, and then you go to college. So middle school and high school, I wasn't really into into the paranormal per se. It was more uh, going from high school to college, where I started. You know, it was during the time that Ghost Hunters, Ghost Hunters. So they were actually the ones that was like, oh, so there's a television show with people doing this. So I'm not the only one, right? And that's when I started going to cemeteries and being a little, doing my whole talk boy thing. Ah, that's another episode that I saw.
Yeah,
Ah, the
yeah.
talk boy.
Hey, Deanna just asked, was it a one-off or did it happen on multiple occasions?
The boogeyman? No,
Yeah.
it was just one. I actually felt for some time like the whole premise of Supernatural when these guys were trying to find the demon that took the mother.
Yeah.
So I kind of felt that way when I started with the whole investigation. I kind of wanted to know what that was.
There you go.
And
Okay.
it
Jeremy,
spiraled it.
Yes, I'm still here.
it is your turn to field the
It's
same
my turn.
question. Yes.
Whoa. What was the question? Let's have a look.
What got you into
okay.
the paranormal?
What started me? Well, I got brought up in a household, unfortunately, of going to church. Did that for about 18 years. And so you have that understanding that there's good and bad, evil, light, and spirits, and the Holy Ghost. I don't really go back into demonic sort of stuff, but you kind of had that sense that there was something. And as a kid growing up, I never really had that experience like Gary or Fernando. But I kind of knew there was something there. From time to time, I would actually hear people talking that weren't actually there, and it was always very cryptic. Didn't think much of it, brushed it off, thought I was just, thought it happened to everyone. And then coming into my 30s, maybe late 20s, I met Gary through another group of riding motorcycles, and he invited us along, and it kind of happened from there. And
Funny thing is that
I've always
that first time you came out was at the same place we were the other night.
yeah. And it was all like a huge rush, and everything happened so quickly. One of the psychics that we had with us said, "You've got a lot of potential. You can do this, this, and this. You just don't know it yet. I'm going to help you on harnessing that." And yeah, it kicked open doors, and what I can do is pretty cool, I think. So I
Pretty awesome. Pretty
I
awesome.
can sense when they're around, how many generally. Uh, what else? I pick up on a lot of energy. Mainly children for some reason, or young people. Don't understand why. Don't know why. Not questioning why, because it's a gift.
Mm.
But no, like if you see me starting to run.
Mm. Lynn,
I just spirits. I mean,
Lynn was.
you could pick up
Lynn-
pineapples.
Oh no, don't.
Yeah. Oh, you've seen it firsthand, Fernando. Exactly. Yeah. I yeah. Call it like a guess. Hey.
Dion wouldn't understand the whole pineapple unless he's been back
No.
through our live streams and look at the Pineapple Express episodes and things like that. It's about a specific person who's not doing very many favors for the paranormal community.
You know, Dion, as you would have seen the other night, when I actually hopped up and walked to the other side of the tunnel, away from the group for a second, it was just getting a lot. Like, I was getting bombarded by different questions that were coming through, and I ended up moving, and that's when Gary had the camera out and was picking up on someone sitting exactly where my empty spot was. And that's just saying I had to move because I was getting pushed.
There you go. Dion says he has gifts like that as well. It's a privilege in his book.
It is a privilege, but at the same time, it can be a burden. Until, well, as I got told and found out myself and taught, yes, pineapples, that you can shut it off and let it work for you when you want it to work for you. But unfortunately, when you're getting asked things and people, they want answers for it, it's not, I need this message for this person. It's very cryptic. It's like, I know something that you need to know to tell someone, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. You're going to have to figure that out.
Yeah.
And it could be someone that I don't know completely, like with at the tunnel. Like, I've got no idea who the guy is. I don't know who's come through. It's like,
well, yeah, that's when it's most raw, because that's very similar to your first experience. I was on the rods, and I think you were asking questions, and I was holding
I was holding how that guy was feeling,
and stuff was happening, and you knew exactly what was going on, and you knew what the answers were going to be before the bloody rods even did it. So, it's interesting.
And now I suppose that's what goes hand in hand with me using the rods, is being able to use gifts that are given, and for some reason it just works so well for me. I don't know why. Luck.
Yeah. Yes, they do. They do drain you. Yeah.
I mean, I've always long said that, I am glad that I don't have abilities, but I do enjoy having someone that does.
It's not that you don't have abilities.
It's just you haven't learned how to focus them.
You're closed off to them.
Yeah.
Good. I mean, for me,
but it's not always good.
No, because I mean, this is how I see it.
Hang on, wait, before you say another word, do you believe you have intuition? Do you have gut feelings about things?
You know what?
Don't think paranormal. Just answer the question. Do you have gut feelings about things? Do you have gut feelings about people?
Yes, I do.
That is a form of psychic intuition by the very word of it. It may not be at the level
you can't see or feel or touch. Doesn't mean.
Yeah, but let's just say this, right? Because let's say, sometimes for I'm gonna use the word sensitive. I've seen personally, and if you want to say, everybody that you come across on, YouTube, television shows, so on and so forth. I've seen how it could, make you kind of almost like a warning, don't go there. So you don't, right? You won't cross this threshold. But for me, I don't want to have that sensibility because I want to go there.
So, I'm a prime example of that. That pentagram, I had voices in my head saying, don't go in there. I still went in there.
He did. And he put my K2 in the middle of it.
But I know my limits. And it's not just me going in there, it's the other three that I have with me.
I do. Jeremy will push it sometimes, but he does know his limits, but sometimes he will stretch them a little bit, and you can see it does take a toll on him, and he has to step back for a bit.
We'd be on saying, it takes it out of you. It does drain.
Yeah.
I've had times where I've had to put rods down and walk off. I've had times where we've been at that side of the tunnel and I've just had to move completely because it happens. And, never offer yourself up as a form of energy. always have something like a battery or a stone or something that you can put down in front. Never let them harness off of you, no matter who it is, good, bad, or not.
And that's one thing that does happen. I mean, I have done it in the past, so you can use our energy to try and manifest, but that's when
not a
you
great
suddenly,
idea.
it's not. And that's when you notice that everybody gets drained and they can get crabby.
Well,
You get
people
cold, you
do
get
it
the
without
cold,
even
you get the
knowing.
cold spots. You get the cold spots because they will actually use the energy from the heat in the atmosphere, and that's why when you watch a film and suddenly if there's a ghost rain, you start seeing mist. It's drawing the heat out of the air. It will, and that's why when you're on a paranormal investigation, your batteries, you could have brand new batteries and they will die just like that.
Oh, look how many times your K2 turned off, or your bright field meter turned off, or whatever it was.
I mean,
There was a lot of
as
activity.
amazing.
MJ has Fernando. MJ has a question, Gary. What show are we talking about? She hasn't watched any yet. Just tucking herself in for a bit.
I
And
read
what
something else when I
episode do
saw
you-
tucking.
Pardon?
I saw something else when I saw tucking. I had to go, really? Oh, right.
Yeah,
it's
I
my-
thought so.
yeah.
I had to reread it. What episode do you think is the best to start with?
Oh, look, it depends on the kind of thing that you're interested in. I mean, we did an episode about the different types of spirits, like poltergeists and demonic stuff, and went into the 3 exorcisms
he
that
said
I've
the
been
word.
involved with. I know. If that's the sort of thing, go and watch that. If you like some of the stars from the TV shows, go and watch. I think a good one actually is the Barry Fitzgerald interview. That's a fantastic one as a first off.
The
But
Barry Fitzgerald episode was a good one.
we've got a lot, and Ben Hansen. You know, there's a
you know
number
what?
of them.
I might have to
No,
throw out even Ray Doherty, the Bigfoot expert.
Yeah.
That was an awesome one.
That was.
learned a lot.
That's our biggest. That's our biggest. That's our most viewed video. Is the Ray Doherty one about the Yowie research from here in Queensland.
It
Well,
is.
from
I suppose
Queensland.
It's a big topic.
Yeah.
It is.
It's hard because everybody has a different focus on the paranormal. So,
The Joe Frankie one was good, and especially if you know his background.
and
that is
who
a
he's
very good one to
associated with.
watch.
If you don't know who Joe Frankie is, he's basically was brought into the paranormal field by Ed and Lorraine Warren themselves, and he was trained up by Ed and Lorraine Warren. They basically considered him part of the family, and in his house, in the background from where he was recording when he was talking with us, he actually showed us stuff that Ed's made with his artwork and stuff just for him. And to hear about the Warrens from somebody who's lived it and not just from what you see in the movies or what you hear on the news is something very special, and that's definitely worth a watch as well.
Do you know what a special episode was, Gary? And I know you were absolutely pumped to do it, and you're waiting so eagerly for the next one.
What?
Graham Phillips, great episode.
Yeah. He
That guy could talk about something that you had no interest in, and you'd be captivated halfway through.
I remember, right, the first time I ever heard Graham Phillips was on a show called Midnight in the Desert. Now, that was originally Art Bell's show, and then when he pulled away, there was stuff happening in the background, and he had to pull away. So he gave it to Heather Wade, and then Heather Wade had it for a while, and then she passed it on to, I keep forgetting the guy's name, but he ended up in some other TV show, so he only had it for so long. But what happened was they did this interview with him, and it was all about his research into the real life case of King Arthur, and obviously the Holy Grail and all these other things that go into that. And that show, it was a 4-hour show every night of the week, and he talked for 4 hours solid. And it just so happened that I was at work, so I had the headphones going on. So I spent half of my time just not actually checking the work I was supposed to be checking. I was just listening. That one job, which should have taken about an hour to check, ended up taking 5 hours because I was listening to this. And he just locks you in, so everything else goes out. So I definitely recommend going back and watching that, because he's talking about secret societies in the UK in the 1800s and a lot of other stuff. And he is he's a prolific author. He's got something like about
He
10,
is
12.
the real life Indiana Jones.
Yeah, he is. And he's been on a lot of those TV shows. You know, that one, the Alien show with the guy with the stupid hair? He's been on that. He's been on, all sorts of stuff.
MJ, one thing I will say is starting at the beginning to be methodical might work for you, but none of our shows are methodically placed in order.
If you
But,
no,
I was just
starting-
about to say. I was just about to say that she asked for which one should we start, and we threw in like 10. I mean,
that's-
not nothing
that's-
like us, like me
Jeremy
personally,
has.
since I didn't start with you guys, but I was brought in. I consider myself, a fan of the show because it is interesting to be part of something that you are so invested in.
we got a fanboy.
Well, it's funny enough.
My Friday mornings over
that's how he
here
came
in
to
the
it,
US
'cause
are awesome.
he started listening to a couple of shows and he made a couple of comments. And I said, "Oh, well, you're in New York. Do you want to come on a show and tell us about what's going on there?" And we can't get rid of him now. He's sort of stuck in that third spot. So we've adopted
anyone
him.
would think he was anyone would think he was Mexican.
I'm like,
Um,
I'm not-
Anyway, Jeremy, there's a question there for you
we've
because
lost
I
Fernando.
know Jeremy's seen them.
I have MJ. I've been one of the very lucky people to witness this. They are scary as hell, but
Fascinating at the
it's
same
different.
time. Yeah.
we were. I was actually out doing pest control with one of my good friends, and he's never really been a believer in that sort of stuff until that night. When you see two lights on the horizon, and you're like, "Yep, we're safe. We've got stuff with us. We're good. Let's go towards it because we think it's someone on the land poaching." And you drive for a good 25 minutes, and they still haven't gotten any closer. Yeah, a real weird one. And then after that, we drove around for a bit more, kind of forgot about them for a bit, went back the way that they were facing, and they were gone. And keeping in mind, we were well away from any civilization.
MJ said
Or at least,
she said she's
2
seen
hours
them.
either way.
She said she's seen them too. So I've got to get this sorted back out so we can actually bring her in on a call and she can tell us all about it.
I'm trying to figure out who it is, to be honest, not being rude. I've got a mind like a sieve.
MJ, she's a new member in the WAPA page.
Aha. Sweet.
This week has been the
Welcome.
biggest onslaught of
Influx.
new members. Yeah, I think the count said about 152 new members this week. We've never had a number that big before.
Oh yeah, see, wasn't that far north. I was actually more southeast. I was in Wickerpen, just out of Narrogin. That's a big distance to see the moon lights. And circling back to Dion, where was it? I did see it. What he said, talking about not having abilities. With that talent, did you actually get some of that? Crap, I'm a mental blank. The smudge spray.
I can't remember if we did.
I can't remember if you did or didn't. I just wanted to know how it went, if anyone used it, and see what they thought.
Oh, I did. I love it stuff.
Did I feel anything like it felt my intentions? Not really. I've already come across as lots of things trying to read my intentions through my daily life. So it really felt nothing out of the ordinary as such for myself.
Yeah, I'm still curious because I know you hear different things about different phenomenon around the world, but the Min Min lights, it's something very unique. You know, I know a lot of there's a lot of TV shows where they mimic the Min Min lights, like the guy's driving along at night, he's looking in the mirror, and there's a set of headlights behind him, and he's getting worried because he thinks he's being followed, and they both go in different directions and hover up in that a car
They
can't do that,
disappear.
yeah. And they're all sort of very similar kind of phenomena, but yeah, you won't hear them. And the Min Min lights, it's not something you would hear anywhere else. People go, "What are the Min Min lights?" And they don't think
Yeah, I've heard
anything
lots
of
of
it
people
until
ask.
somebody explains their experiences, and then they go, "Oh, it's like this, it's like that," and then that's when the reality of what that experience can actually do to certain people. Because
Yeah, that was only going back a couple of years ago that I saw
Yeah.
them.
but anybody has any kind of paranormal experience will know that feeling of not being able to express what's going on up here when they're experiencing it, because it's just hard to put into words, you know.
We've seen a few shadow people, haven't we, Gary?
Yeah.
Especially at Clive House, around that area when we went there.
Yep. They were actually
It was
across the other side
crazy.
as well in
Yeah, in the
Nightingale.
the old
Yeah,
nurses, the
Nightingale.
old nurses' quarters.
Yeah,
That's right. And because they're walking through a wall,
yeah,
backwards and forwards across the windows, and it's like, hang on, that wall mustn't have been there before.
yeah.
And
Which
Gary
tells
has
you
the
it's
best
a
analogy when it.
which
Gary
te-
has the best explanation for that sort of thing.
That's
That's
a-
going into the whole
yeah.
lead-based paint.
that's a residual thing. That
Mhm.
so if it's doing the same thing over and over again, and yeah, you're talking about a residual haunt, which they're not going to affect you. They're just going to startle and probably spook the hell out of you. But it's just like watching a recording. And yes, I over my many years of investigating and coming up with rational explanations for things, I do have. I still say it is a form of paranormal activity because it's still not understandable, but the mechanics of what are going on there are sound scientifically speaking. So I think I have a very good explanation of a a residual haunting, and also my explanation for it actually does match up with the fact that there aren't that many of them anymore. There used to be a lot of residual cases reported, but in this day and age, the theory that I've put forward, and that's the reason why it's not happening so much now. That's why you might still see it at some of the really old historic buildings if they've been maintained in original condition, but not in anything more recent. So hang on, what we've got here?
That's another episode we can touch in on, Gary.
What's that?
The conspiracy of the removal of lead paint. There has been a lot set into it, and now when you think about it like that, and the technology advancements that we've had with Wi-Fi and all these 3G, 4G, 5G and whatnot, how would that be able to permeate easily through lead-based paint? Like your Wi-Fi, how would that go?
Oh,
through the lead-based
it's
paint
almost
pipes?
like a conductor. It would just poof off. It would go.
Exactly.
Yeah. Hang on, what have we got here?
Because there's still conspiracies about it, and people buying lead-based paint on the black market.
I don't know why you'd want to, but it's like all things. There's so many
Stop-
conspiracies around. I mean, you look at like
5Gs.
Whitnum. You look at Whitnum. It's gone.
Yeah.
It's been wiped from the map. Now, anybody who
But
knows
it was
anything
taken
about
off the map
Whitnum,
before it was demolished.
yeah, that's where asbestos came from. And
Blue Sky Mine.
yeah. And what happened was they actually struck it from the map because of the amount of asbestos around, because it was too dangerous, while the town was still there. And now even the roads have been removed. So you can't, there's no tracks there or anything. And unless you can pop a helicopter in and put you on the spot, it's gone.
Unless you have road maps that have Whitnum still.
Unless you've got old maps. But even old maps still point to roads that were there then to get you there, and they're all
yeah.
gone. So
100%.
it can give you can look on it and you can get latitude, longitude, and you can get a coordinate for it and use GPS to get you there. But that's about the only way you'll find your way there. And I don't know if they've been in and removed the buildings and flattened the place.
Oh, they're gone. Everything's gone.
Yeah.
Yep. So they removed it off the maps and all the street signs before they actually started demolition.
Yeah. It's like this. It's like I mean, this is not paranormal in any way, shape, or form. But there's a town in Germany that nobody can find anymore because all the English tourists go there just to steal the signs to the town. Now the town is called The town is called Fucking, and it's in Germany. I'm not swearing. You can look it up and Google it. And what it is all the Poms, all the Brits are going over there to steal all the fucking signs. And quite often people cannot find their way to Fucking because the signs are gone.
So it'd be a good fucking place to live.
It's ridiculous. Oh, he thinks I'm joking. Google it, man. Seriously.
I have been to Jarrahdale Forest. We've been to the Jarrahdale Cemetery we've been to a few
Yes.
times as well.
Yeah.
He's had some great times there with his backpack.
Oh, we've had
I've
some
actually
experiences, yeah.
I've got some good friends buried there. The very back right hand corner to the right of the tree, I think, well, what I've come across is there's a lot of indigenous spirits that are there. Sorry, the back left corner, not the right corner. And they don't like you being there after a certain time.
You know what the funny thing is? When we were there as well, we had an owl in the tree right next to us
Yes.
watching us. How often is it you go on a paranormal investigation and there's an owl just sat there watching? It's not very often. I mean, I'm talking it's no more
it's
than
not
10,
an
10 or,
owl.
not even 10 or
It-
15 feet.
It was a tawny frogmouth. They're not owls.
It was an owl.
They're hoots.
Yeah. But yeah, it was right there just watching. Just watching everything that we were doing with interest.
That would have been a pretty interesting job, Dion. In saying that I'm a mechanic myself, so it's all automotive.
Yeah. So what else does anybody want to talk about? Because I mean,
And
what
the
started
pub in
out as it was
Jarrahdale's
going to be
fairly haunted.
yeah, it was going to be a quiz night, and nobody turned up, so we just got turned it into a question and answer kind of session. And these are the good ones because we're actually talking about things that you guys want to talk about. So you let us know what you want to talk about, and we'll do it.
If you've got any ideas for episodes, future episodes.
Yeah.
we-
What kind of
we're
episodes do
more
you
than
want to see on the show? Because it's all about you guys ultimately.
100%. We just do this to fill our time, really.
Oh, we do it just
Well, we enjoy
Enjoy
doing
it.
it, but
it's our catch up.
Yeah, for sure.
Like we like waking
We get to
Fernando up in the middle of the morning, and apparently his clocks have just gone back, so it's like silly o'clock in the morning for him.
Oh,
well-
yeah.
well,
I
almost
woke up
9
10
o'clock.
minutes before we started recording.
I'm surprised we haven't seen Carl.
Yeah, he's been a bit quiet of late. Yeah. Oh, what other things can we talk about? You know, we usually have a plan on what we're going to talk about when we do a live feed, but
My
because
wonderful pineapple shorts.
I can show that video,
Oh, yeah.
Isn't it being aired soon?
I didn't put it in. No, that was the one that went up last week. I didn't put that in
was it?
last week. We were going to record.
Yeah.
What happened was we were going to
I thought
record.
you did record it.
No, it didn't record.
Oh,
That's what I was
Oh.
saying. We wanted to record Fernando's reaction at seeing Jeremy in the
it's meant to be.
in the pineapple shorts. The first ever episode we recorded, which was an audio recording, and
Oh my
Fernando was losing his crap laughing, and then I go, I've got it, and I had a look, and it wasn't recording. So I don't have it. So we're gonna have to let him forget about it and then record it again.
That's actually a very good question by Dion.
He's Dion. Oh, hang on.
I'm not going to say what I think because I'll get myself in trouble.
All right, I'm gonna say this.
He's American, so he gets away with it.
I was a huge fan, because the way I saw Ghost Adventures, it was the more extreme version of Ghost Hunters. Everyone knows that when Ghost Hunters goes into a location, they have a whole crew of studio people. You know, you got the mic guy, you got, you know. So I found it pretty freaking interesting when the first 3 seasons, when they were going into these places and they were by themselves. It was them recording each other, and you know, it was entertaining, and you know, again, I was more into ghost hunters at the time. So when I first met Zach Bagans, he was more extreme. He was more confrontational, and it just kind of brought a bit of a interest, right? Like, ooh, what is the ghost gonna do? I always waited for something to happen to this guy, but the more he started doing his thing, then I just started noticing, it's wait a minute. I would hate that somebody will walk into a space where I'm at and talk a lot of shit. Like I'm gonna that is extremely disrespectful. So then, even before all of this rumors or, conspiracies or whatever's going on with this dude, apparently he holds the key. Um, Even before all of that, I just started losing interest because he was very disrespectful.
I wish that Josh Gates punched him in the mouth, but hey.
I'm looking at some of the stuff that MJ's putting up. She said, "Have you ever done a hospital ladder still running?" The planning of one of those is in the early stage, right as we speak. I have a contact, and things are happening, and they are looking at getting us into a closed-off wing at a specific hospital, which I'm not going to name, because of weird occurrences that are happening there. So stay tuned for that. And as for Barton's Mill, we did try to get out there once, but there's not really a lot left there now. And we didn't end up getting there because we started to walk off into the bush and everybody got scared off because a brown snake came shovering through in front, and that scared the crap out of everybody seeing a brown snake. So that stopped that.
I'd like to go back out to the brickworks.
We can do that.
Wait, when you said when you say there's not much there, are you talking about structure or are you talking about energy?
Structure, not energy. It's
okay.
hard. It's hard to find the specific site. I think there's a few like slabs and things still there, but a lot of it's gone. Now that does have a history because there were prisoners of war from the Second World War that were taken out there. It was a prison for prisoners that get them out into the sticks, out of the way from everybody. I think it was a low security setup, but it does have a lot of history, and there was a lot of stuff that happened there. But unfortunately, it is hard to get to now. Don't you love MJ? She's doing the whole like RPH. I can't say. It's one that everybody knows, but I can't really say. We are sort of bound by silence on this one.
As for the whole, sorry, just taking up there for the whole people saying, places are active at night. A lot of people don't realise it doesn't matter what time of day it is.
No, it happened day or night. Yeah.
You've got it happening day and night. Like we went out to the brickworks at night that time, Gary, with that group, and there was a bit there, not a whole heap. I went back a month later during the day with one of my friends, and it was crazy. We had more stuff there than what we got the night.
I definitely think the next time we go back there, we go back with a much smaller group and actual dedicated people, not a lot of the people that were there with us, because that everybody was off in different directions. There was no structure, and I honestly think in those situations, people just the spirits, lose interest. But if you go with a small focus group, and MJ, can I come? Yeah, why not? You can come.
Hey, look, active in the chat. Let's go. It gets rewards.
But yeah.
Because you've got that old workshop that they have.
Oh, no, she's talking about the hospital, I think.
Oh, yeah, probably. That workshop that was there at the brick refinery.
Yeah.
I got pulled back into that, or something was holding me back. There was something not happy in that area. Don't know what it was. Saw a shadow a couple times, didn't see a lot. But there was just something that didn't want me in, or they wanted me in there. They didn't want me to leave.
You see what's funny is that I do believe that paranormal activity happens whenever. But for some reason, at nighttime, I feel, personally, at nighttime is when you get more visual.
Let me stop you right there.
Comes down to your mind playing tricks on you, and you're more alert because you're looking for something.
No, let me put you
I wouldn't
You
say that
scare,
about
yourself,
myself.
you scare yourself.
No, let me put this
I
to you,
wouldn't say
right?
that about myself.
They're always around, but during the day, you've got daylight going, you've got TV going, you've got noises going outside, inside. Your mind is in 1,000 different places. You're not focused on that. You're just living life. On a night time when it gets dark, your visual senses have diminished because if you close your eyes, you can't see. So what
Or
happens?
heightened.
What happens then is and this is a scientifically proven thing, when you lose one sensation, all of your other senses heighten at exponential rates. So now what's happening is you're sensing things you could never sense before. You're smelling things you could never smell before. It's really bad if you've got somebody who's farting a lot. You are hearing things that you've never heard before. So you put all of them together, and then what happens is your fear factor rises because even though you're in the exact same place you go every single day, you're in a world which is now unfamiliar to you. And being unfamiliar to you in a place where you reside or where you work or whatever, it creates an anxious feeling. And that's what gets that creep factor going at nighttime. And that's why when we do things like the Estes method, it's sensory deprivation. You block the eyes, all your other senses heighten. That's exactly what that is. But the Gansfeld is the original. The Gansfeld experiment is the original one before you started bringing in the spirit box or things like that. Just white noise and a torch with your eyes blanked. Not black, so it's white, but you can't see anything. So it's like white visual and white noise. That's the original incarnation of that experiment before Estes took over. And that's what it's all about. Things are all around us all the time, but because so much other stuff is going on, you're not picking it up. Doesn't mean it's not there.
So,
No, for sure. For sure.
MJ, going to your St. Mary's Guildford cemetery, I've been there a lot of times. I was actually lucky in one of my jobs. I actually had Shire keys for every building in that Shire to get into. The town hall, yes, that is definitely haunted. I've been there while there's been no one there fixing things. And then I've also got family that own some of Guildford as well, and their buildings as well. Extremely haunted. One of them actually was the post office, which has now been sold and made into a cafe, I'm pretty sure.
Tell you what is another good one is the old Swanbourne Hospital.
Yes.
That place, I've been in there a few times. And
Even the old orphanage.
Swanley, yeah.
Yes.
I have footage from it. Well, if you go back through the WAPA pages, you'll see the one. I think there's one that I posted the other day in a flashback to where we picked up the disembodied voice of a spirit going, "Mommy." Caught it on video, caught it on voice recorders, and it was like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, and it was up on the top floor, and we all heard it. The cameras heard it, and that is there somewhere on the WAPA page. If you want to go look through our videos, you'll find it. I might even repost it again so people can watch it and hear it. But that was at the Swanley in a specific room. Now, just to take that further, Dion was asking me, have you ever witnessed somebody being possessed? Now, we have talked about what happened down in Albany, but one of the biggest ones that I saw was we were doing a table tipping session because we do a lot of old school stuff. And our original psychic, the one I was telling you about earlier in this show that used to do the spirit sessions with everybody to bring us all up to the next level, she actually, something channeled into her, and you can see on the video her face changed, and she was rattling and shaking stuff around. Her voice changed, her face changed, and there was a few $1,000s worth of gear on this table, which everybody was sort of having to grab and move out of the way because, you know, she's not going to be the type that's going to ruin thousands of dollars worth of gear. And yeah, that was at Swanley as well. So that Swanley is a very active location. You get that feeling just by walking around at night time.
I'd love to go to the old Greylands.
Yeah, that's the old Swan. That's the old Swan. Swanbourne Hospital.
That place would absolutely go off.
Been in there. In fact, we went in there. We went down there one night to see if I'm not going to say, but we went down there one night, and they were actually shooting a film in there. But they were shooting on one side of the complex, and we said, "Look, can we just go in for a bit of a walk around?" And they said, "You can, but you've got to fill these forms out for their indemnity and stuff like that." So we filled their forms out, and they said, "Well, they're shooting over there. Just be quiet. Don't shine any torches around. It's all right. We've got night vision. We don't need it." And they let us loose in this building, and that place went off in the time that we were there. And when we came out, we said, "Yeah, don't go in there." And they said, "No, we've been hearing things happening in there all night, and there's nobody in there." Anyway, flash to a few months later, what we didn't realise, these forms that we were filling out for the indemnity and what have you, were actually the forms that all the extras filled out for the show, for the movie. So all of our names appear as extras in this movie that we were never in. So I do have another film to my credits, which I can't even remember what it's called, but that was shot in the early 2000s
So Dion asked Fernando, "What is the most paranormal hotspot you have been to, and what sort of activity did you get?" And I think I know your answer.
Kings Park.
I mean, it's definitely a place I like to talk about because that place actually left a very strong impression on me, especially this one entity, Anna. But I've been to a lot of places, Eastern State Penitentiary, the Lizzie Borden House, the
Max Murder
Amityville.
House.
I've been around. I've been.
Rub it in.
Sorry, guys. Come on. You got to visit these high-profile places, or at least be within the atmosphere of it. But aside from residential places, residential cases, I'm gonna have to talk about Kings Park just because I've never been in a location where you don't even need to perform a EVP session. You could just turn on a voice recorder and walk around, and you get things. You could just have your own conversation with whoever you're with. Walk around the whole Kings. By the way, Kings Park is an abandoned psychiatric center. And
It's not the Kings Park we have here.
No.
Yeah, no. I'm in the U.S. I'm currently in Florida right now. I used to live in New York, and Kings Park Psychiatric Center was about an hour drive from where I used to live. But yeah, the EVPs there. I should send you a couple of the EVPs, Gary, just so you could, listen to them and get because it's always a good thing to share your findings with a third
Definitely.
party, and
I think I was saying that last episode, to be honest.
yeah. I actually quoted you. From the last episode.
So Fernando, as you're saying about just turn on your recorder and you'll get things. That's pretty much me walking around.
Yeah.
Day to day.
I'll tell you something else as well. This is specifically for Dion. He's asked a lot about some of the stuff that we've gone through now. I've actually, if we're going back to like exorcisms and things like that, I've actually witnessed 3 exorcisms myself. I've actually been in the room and documented them. I was recording them all on camera. 2 of them were for Father Barry May, who used to be the WA police chaplain, and one of them was it was a spiritual. I was contacted from these people over in Sydney who were coming over to Perth to perform an exorcism, and I was documenting all that now just to give Dion the chills a little bit. The camera that you were recording on the other night, because I gave him my camera to film some of the stuff at the tunnel, that is the same camera that I documented these 3 exorcisms on. So that camera's been in the same room as, I don't like using the word, but at least 2 demons. And one of them we've had to get hands on with because it took 4 guys to control this person that was only 50, 60 kilos. And it was terrifying. And I was told I had specific instructions. You stay behind the camera and you don't look it in the eye. And yeah, it was terrifying. And this thing, the strength, it wasn't all what you see in the film The Exorcist. It wasn't like that, but parts of it were. When you watch that, you hear that demon voice. Well, it sounds a bit different. It's kind of like 3 voices coming out at the same. Might have been more, but to me, I heard at least 3 distinct voices coming out at the same time. So when it was talking, it was 3 different tones all coming out. A bit like if you watch Star Trek and you hear the Borg talking. It was very much like that, but much more scary. And that camera that you were using the other night recorded all of that. And that footage, I don't have that footage. I don't have that footage because I transferred it all for Father Barry May, and it was all deleted. I deleted it straight from I didn't need to see that again because it's all banged in the back of my brain.
That was a bit of a bomb to drop on a live.
It's now like throwing holy water on his face.
People know it before, but I just thought you just never know what you're dealing with on any given occasion. And what, you know how to say some things can be a haunted object and stuff like that? Well, the camera could have had the potential to have something like that, you know what I mean?
So,
and
going back to
there it is right there for anybody. That's the camera that recorded the whole thing. The old Sony.
Have you tried to get in contact with the new police chaplain of WA with the credentials that you've had behind you?
No, because he's closed off to the whole exorcism thing. Father Barry May, I think that part of the reason why he resigned from as police chaplain, and for the last years of his work, he was doing exorcisms all around Australia. And like I said, he actually said if I could be involved in some others because he trusted me and he knew that he got the footage connection and stuff like that. But I mean, I remember going over to his place and he actually had a carport, and at the back there was a little garage, a detached garage, and that was his little office. And quite often we'd be sat in there just talking about things. You know, we've actually had him come in and help us on a couple of residential cases of ours in the past as well. And I've told everybody about that. There was this family that were being afflicted by some sort of demonic entity, and I don't like using that word, but there's no other reason for it or no other way of explaining this. We went there Tuesday night, and the lemon tree was absolutely bulging with beautiful, bright yellow lemons. And we did this, and then he came in on the Thursday night. 2 nights later, there wasn't a lemon left on the tree. They were all on the floor, and they were all rotten to the core. That doesn't happen in 2 days, not normally. And that was the first real sign. And then we were hearing all strange things. There was the women that were in the house were worried because they've seen their son being picked up and sort of flung around the room. Now, this is a kid, wasn't even 2 years old. Oh, he was only just 2 years old, if that was the case. And what was happening is they were witnessing, you know, the old deadbolt on the sliding door that goes up into the top of the frame? They were seeing that being pulled down and then the door being opened by itself. Latch flicked and then door being slid open. They said they couldn't go to bed because they had to lock the doors and something was opening the doors. And then this thing with the lemons and everything, that was weird. We had that documented because we went through it. We did a run through with the camera before that. Obviously, you get a thing because he has a look at that, so he gets a lay of the land, and then we record it again when he goes through to do the house clearing and cleansing. And he
Yeah.
said, yeah, it was a big one. So
MJ has asked, do we have a cleansing ritual or something that you do after investigations to keep attachments away? We do. There's several things. One of them is that smudge spray that I was actually talking about earlier. I don't know if you're in or not. My wife makes that up, and there's full of goodies and sage and Santo Paulo and all the rest of it. But Gary has the best explanation on how to kind of white light and
there's
cleanse
yeah,
on that aspect.
but I'm not going to say them here. That's something specific to
Yeah, it is.
the investigation when we're doing an investigation. But come out with us, come out on one of our public hunts, and you'll get to experience it all for yourself. And Dion can attest for that because Dion's been out with us probably 3 or 4 times now. And Dion, in the chat, do you want to let them know what your experiences have been like with WAPA when you've come out with us? If you want to put that in the chat, at least then they're getting it in your own words.
As long as it's not saying like absolutely terrible bad people, do not advise.
Yeah.
But he's just saying there, being part of a recording that hunt was special for him, and he felt honoured. And hey, look, man, thank you.
Well, like I
you're-
said, Dion has
He's
shown.
a genuine person.
Yeah, he's shown a lot of keen interest, and I'm actually looking seriously at him possibly coming
I was
on as
actually
a
gonna
team,
talk to you about that. After
coming on
this.
as a team member at some point in the very near future.
I'm
And
surprised Dion's sons aren't in the chat there bombarding us.
well, I'm surprised the bearded one's not in at least. Anyway,
Yeah.
but one of the things I want to do is expose people to not just witnessing but trying to record it and stuff like that. So not only was that camera the one that recorded 3 exorcisms and countless other paranormal, the footage, if you go back through the videos and you see that one of the child, I told you about that one just not long ago at Swanley with the mommy, that was recorded on that very same camera as well. This camera here has been with me for a very, very, very long time, and it's going to stay with me until it's dead and not working anymore. And it'll be sad when that day comes because you can't get a camera like that anymore.
Not even that, Gary. I used that camera while we were at the what's it called, where the ladies were. We went there after hours and went through their buildings. Crap, I forgot the name of the place. It's where you were sitting on the bed when we walked in and you were having a little session and we chucked the K2s out and everything else.
That sounds so wrong.
You know what I'm talking about. I can't remember where it was.
Well,
I've had
apparently
mental
not,
blank.
because I was having a session. My brain's obviously not working. I can't remember what we're talking about.
You were sitting in the house where the baby in the bathtub.
Oh,
I can't remember the name of it.
not Sloane's Cottage, the other one.
Yes,
Uh,
you know what I'm talking about. I've forgotten what it was called.
Smirk's Cottage.
Smirk's Cottage.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's
That
on
camera,
that
actually-
is on this channel. That whole recording is on this channel. If you
Yes,
want to go back as
yes.
well.
So we also picked up some stuff on that camera going through where they've got like a museum-y type thing as well when I took
Yeah.
it off you and walked through.
Yeah,
That was a good night
it is.
because they had told us things after we had found things and they're like, yes, this happens.
Well, they wanted us to come and start running regular ghost nights for them and stuff, but then they turned around and said, "But it's on us to get this in place and get that in place." And it ended up we were doing all the work and they were getting all the lion's share of all the money and everything from it. And I said, yeah, it would have been all right if we'd have sort of split some money, but we're doing all the work. You guys are just opening the doors,
Yeah. Well, nothing bad against the people. They were
No,
lovely
no, no,
people.
no, no. The people that were there, they were fantastic. It was the board that said you need to have this in place and that
Yeah.
in place. So
I've been on 2 hunts. One of Fremantle Cemetery was my first. I experienced a lot. I saw the way Jeremy was affected from the dowsing. It was going over it in my mind for days. Second was that, and then stop. All right.
I actually don't have protection healing ritual when I go into these places. I don't do nothing.
mhm.
Fernando's hard. Urgh.
Actually, the first time that I ever did something was because of who I was with,
Pineapple.
and he was just completely, paranoid of what happened. By the way, MJ mentioned something about the Estes method.
Mhm.
Hang on, just
um,
before you do that, Smirk's Cottages in Quinana. There you go. Continue.
uh, somewhere in my YouTube, Strangers Minds or TikTok, I do have the Estes method that we did. I'm not going to a place that was dubbed the Demon House, and I did a Estes method in there. I actually got scratched there also. Um, and that was, I don't know, I mean, my opinion, that was an amazing session due to the fact that when this person said, "What is my name?" I, without a beat, boom, I just said the name. um, but yeah, it was pretty good. So I don't do nothing. I've been everywhere and I don't really
Lazy.
do nothing.
Well, no, no.
I just,
It depends.
I honestly feel like if your faith is strong and you know your stance, you know. Now, don't get me wrong. When I went to the Dominican Republic, there was a area there where I dubbed the ranch. There was something like really bad there. Like I'm a like really bad to the point that me and two other guys that went with me to investigate this area, when we were leaving we had to walk through, bushes, trees, well, like the jungle. So I had a machete with me just so we could chop off everything, and I had to hand it off because I was getting these thoughts in my head to start swinging at the people with that was with me. And that was the first and the first time I felt like, you know what, I'm gonna start saying a prayer, and I just prayed until I got onto the main road,
Yeah,
and that's it.
yeah.
But
The thing about protecting yourself and why Fernando doesn't do his cleansing all the time, and that's perfectly fine. I actually I don't do them all the time because if you think of it like an apple tree, right? Every person, they say you got high vibes and you got low vibes. If you're high vibes, you're happy, you're enjoying everything. You know, your vibes are high, you're up here somewhere. When you're down in the dumps and you're low, your vibe is lower. Now think of that like an apple tree. If it's up there high, people can't pick at it. But if your vibes are low, you're low hanging fruit, they can get their hands into you. That it's the same kind of thing, right?
no,
So
no,
if you
Low hanging fruit means something else.
does it?
I've had the privilege to know Gary for well over a year now, and you have the best analogies.
Oh, it just
And,
I
and,
like to
and
say it
Dion,
in a
that,
simple way that people can understand. You know, I can go and make it as complicated, but people just go, "Huh?" So you just make
No,
it
I
nice
mean,
and
like,
simple.
look, Fernando,
I,
when you're Gary's age, you have that much wisdom.
Oh, Jesus, there we go.
damn.
But
I
Dion,
mean,
that's why on our hunt. Sorry, Fernando, you're up.
no. Go.
That's
Go.
why on our hunts, it's not always serious. You break it up. You have your laughs.
Yes.
You have a mess around. You know, look at the last one we went on. There was still laughs.
Mm.
You know, we're sitting down getting ready to do what we're about to do in silence, and then all you hear is someone playing a video where there's fart noises.
Yeah. Yeah. And
It happens. Everyone's up and happy and high, and it's you have to have it.
now let me just say this about what Jeremy was just saying. That is part of the cleansing ritual of what we do because from what I've just explained and doing that in the middle, a lot of people won't understand what we're doing. They'll just go, "Why are these guys doing silly jokes like this?" Yeah, it's funny. We're having a bit of a laugh, but it's about keeping you up there because if it gets too intense, people get so into it that their vibes start to slow down as they're starting to focus and they're getting creeped out, and that's what leaves them open. So we have to do this: have a laugh, get serious, have a laugh, get serious, have a laugh towards the end, and that's where we finish it because you're already higher than what these demonic or whatever you want to call them entities can reach. And that's what it is. Now, some people who are naturally on edge right from the start, we have to pay more special attention to those guys because they are going to be more open to it. And it's, again, that's why you don't come on a hunt if you've been drinking alcohol, because alcohol is a bit of a depressant in many cases, or drugs or stuff like that. And if you've got something really emotionally bad going on in your life, it's probably better to stay away as well, because it's just
Look,
like a big light to these things to come straight at you.
I've had it before where I said to Gary, look, hey, not going to make it.
Yeah.
You know, not the right mindset.
Yep.
I've seen it firsthand at Albany and at Fairbridge,
Yep.
where it just rocks the boat completely and throws everything out of whack. No one has fun.
We did Fairbridge twice, and both times it absolutely screwed with the. Even I got affected by it, and I'm so high vibe that I'm like Teflon. Everything slides straight off. But
There's something about that place.
That place.
I think it's all the sad, bad things that happen there. To be honest.
Hmm.
So MJ, as for who we are, Gary's above me. I'm Jeremy, and below me is
Fernando.
His
He lost it again.
His channel is Strangers Minds, and I've just broken him again.
Fudge.
I knew that one would come in handy eventually.
Oh my god.
Okay, I'm just reading
one
back
still.
through some of the chat now, and MJ's gone, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. That
Yes,
is
and
the
that
best
is nail on the
explanation.
head.
That is bang on, 100%. Perfect. Yeah, that's exactly how you should be.
And maybe if you're lucky enough at some stage, Fernando and myself will be streaming Phasmophobia again.
Oh, hopefully. Hopefully soon. Because
We
nothing
gotta,
happened.
we got to get Mr.
That video
Nesbitt on
got
as well.
attention. Yeah,
Did it?
yeah. Because that video got attention. Man, the boy,
It did.
that when you went like rawr, and then
Actually, that's one of the things I wanted to ask. Have you guys heard from Jax this week?
No.
We need to touch base with Jax to
hopefully
see how
everything
she
is
is.
all good.
Hope everything's good. And if it is, hopefully we'll be recording with them next week. And they've got a new TV show that's coming out soon, and they'll have a bit of news to
And
share
you're-
about that.
You're more than welcome. Thank you for asking questions and making it a great time.
Yeah. I mean,
thank you so much.
It's actually probably been the most chatter we've had in a
sometime.
live in a long time.
I mean, to be fair, we haven't done that many lives in a long time. This was supposed to be a
No.
a quiz tonight, but we didn't get many
But even
people
still,
turn out.
it's-
So
it's been flowing. There hasn't been going. What do we talk about now? It's just question. It's great. Keep going.
and that's what we
Going
want.
back
We
to
want
where
feedback.
MJ's asked, "What is dowsing?"
Dowsing is an old school thing. Dowsing is an old method that is used for picking up energy, and in the olden days they would use it to find underground water and stuff like that, water divining, and the same methods can be applied to, because everybody knows that spiritual activity has a lot to do with electromagnetic energy and the
vibrations.
EM fields and stuff like that, and picking up fluctuations. That's why we have K2 meters, we have trifield meters, Mel meters, every other named meter under the sun. They all do basically the same thing. That's picking up fluctuations, the EM field around us. And that's why dowsing rods work, because when you hold them together like that, if a spirit comes in the middle, just think of it like a magnet. It's going to draw them both together, or if it is able to reverse the polarity, it sends them the other way. If they stand on this way, they go that way. So that it's an easy way for spirits to manipulate. So if you come up with cross the rods for a yes, separate them for a no, and can you show us where you are, and they both go in this direction, it's a very rudimentary communication tool for speaking with the spirits, and we've had quite a lot of success with it. They take a while to get used to. Now, if you come on a paranormal investigation with us, a public hunt, we'll give you a shot to have a crack with them if you want to have a crack with them and see how you go. It's not something that everybody picks up straight away. Jeremy's really good with them. I'm good with them. Other people have mixed amounts of success because there's a very specific way you have to hold them, so you're not actually interfering with them, but also they're free enough that they can do their own thing. So it's a practice thing about getting it right. But when they go, you actually feel the energy in the rods
The
before they're going to
vibrations
do.
through it.
Yeah, before they even go.
And yes, MJ, they are old school, and the best thing that I like about it is you can see when people are manipulating.
Yes, and there's not a digital
we've
thing
had-
in
we've-
there. There's not a chipboard in them.
We've had public hunts where someone was asking questions. We had someone else trying them. I'm not going to name where or who. They no longer come out with us. They're not welcome to
No.
because they were manipulating and giving
Yeah.
wrong answers to people, which I do not agree with and I do not condone.
No, this specific
Myself
this
and Gary.
specific person, you were saying, you'd say, if it's a yes cross the rods, you could actually see his
Remember
hands
his hands.
moving to make the rods do it. You hold them dead still. When you see those rods going, if you look at the hands, which is, I always do that anyway, just to see that, because that's my investigative mind, just seeing what is causing it. It's very similar to if you're
Pendulum.
using a pendulum to do some scrying and stuff like. It's a very similar kind of thing. It's about the energies, cross the rods, opposed to if it's a yes, make it spin. If it's a no, make it rock. Very, very similar kind of setup.
See,
I don't
even
get it.
after using dowsing rods, I'm still very skeptical of pendulums.
The thing with a pendulum, and this is why I don't use them, is the subtle difference between making it rock and making it spin. It's a lot easier for somebody to manipulate. With these,
Well, it's like
you're
the
going to see
same
their
way
hands
as using a
going like
blender.
that if they want to do something, and it's a lot clearer to see somebody cheating and really discrediting what it's all about. So when
And
we
that's
do
what
it,
we get.
it's legit.
Gary's got all these, electrical goodies and investigative tools. Most hunts I rock up, I've got dowsing rods and a torch. It's all I need. Like,
You don't need
that's
all
my
the stuff.
favourite. I love it.
What
I
what
love it. You don't need all this gear.
But what is good about it though is, and you can validate this, Dion can validate this, because we had K2s out, we had tri-fields out, we had the dowsing rods out, and they were all reacting at the same
working too.
time. So we've got 3 points of validation from
can't deny that.
two completely different electronic devices and one set of analog devices. All
And then
of
you've
them
got
were
the
picking up.
personnel, so there was 4. Because
Yeah.
you also had that guy validating after something was done.
Yeah. So
You can't deny that. That is irrefutable.
that's what we go for. 3 points of validation that are totally disconnected from each other. If you get that, it's hard for any
And-
scientific query to try and discredit it. So
And using the rods myself, I will personally go up, show the people the rods afterwards, ask them if they want me to show them again, just to make sure, keep an eye on my hands.
yeah,
It's just, especially when it's something so profound that came through like the last one, you just have to be able to explain to them, look, it's not me. I'm just a channel.
yeah. I've got the bag behind me with all the goodies in it and stuff like that. I was going to go and grab it, but there's not much point. But all I'm saying is, for all the stuff that you see in because the TV shows, they like to do everything so they can sell it to you. To give you an idea, right? When Ghost Hunters came out and they had the PSB-7, which was one of the original spirit boxes, I bought one pretty quick. Cost me $60. That same PSB-7 now is nearly $400 if you look for it on YouTube, on eBay. Sorry, I've got the PX, which that came
I've
direct
got
from.
a PX that you've got.
Eh? Have you got it?
I've got a PX. You're holding it.
Anyway, I've got the PX, which was sent to me by Bill Chappell, who's the guy that sends stuff to Zach Baggins and whatever for Ghost Adventures, and I'm one of the only people that he sent it out of the country to, so I'm lucky to get that. But I forgot where I was going now. You completely bloody. All I'm saying is, with all this technical gear that you have, the good old analog dowsing rods are still probably one of the most effective tools to use.
They're my favorite. And really, the biggest thing and best thing you can use is your body.
I've always said that. You know that.
Only tool you
Yeah.
What I've always said, and I say it at the start of every hunt, is the best tool you have for any kind of paranormal investigation is your body, because you can pick up cold spots. Obviously, you get the shivers. If you get the goosebumps going up, that's your body reaction to electromagnetic energy. You know, if you see the arms, the hairs on your arms standing up and stuff like that, you hear things, you can see things, you can smell things. Everything that one of these pieces of equipment does, your body does. The only thing about it is your body, other than in your memory, can't record it. This is a recording device up here. It records everything, but it's not something that you can then give to somebody and say, here is definitive proof, because it's coming out of your head. That's why all of these pieces of equipment turn out. Now, let me just tell you something else, right? We had some guys come in here the other day to do a electrical audit of the house to see where we can cut costs. And I started talking to him about this thing that I want to get from my phone, which is a FLIR device that plugs into your bottom of the phone, and it gives you...
Brilliant.
You know what he pulled out of his pocket? The very one that I want, and it would have fit my phone as well. And I was like, do you want to lose it? I'll have it. Yeah. And then he went around the house, and the resolution of this thing, he goes, oh, it's not very good. Bullshit. It was sensational. And the beauty of this is you can record it on your phone through this. It's an actual real FLIR device. So it is a proper thermal imaging camera. It's not an app. But you can push another button and it overlays the video feed as well. So you can see you or I as you would see it, but you also see the heat projected over the top. So you're getting the thermal image as well as the visual image. So if you're looking and then suddenly you've got a thermal detection here, which is probably going to be in the colder spectrum, so it's going to be in the blues or the purples, but there's nobody there, you've got something there. I am so... wanting to get one.
That snap-on, because we got one at work. It's a snap-on camera,
yeah,
thermal imaging camera. But I've used those FLIRs before throughout when I was in construction for bathrooms and that.
Yeah,
to pick up where there's water leaks in tiles. Brilliant.
Just in case for MJ, we actually do have an episode where we talk about paranormal equipment and what we use on our investigations and what is needed for investigations.
And we do have a episode where we speak to a guy over east who actually produces his own equipment, which is something that you've never seen in any of the TV shows before. And in fact, Jeremy's been in contact with him just in the last few weeks, and he has stopped selling for a while because he's gone into redevelopment to bring all this stuff to the next level. And he's at the point now where he's going to be releasing it all again to the public. And this is all Australian made, and he tested out. He tested out at Arradale Asylum, and
I would love
to
get my hands on.
What did you think of that video, Gary? When I sent it to you,
it was awesome.
It's something that he's had. It's similar to a product he's had before that he's worked on.
Yep. I
personally haven't seen anything close to what he's doing.
And if you actually speak to him, because when I spoke to him last time. He will, he's a really nice guy, but he will actually customize it to exactly what you want, to the point where he will actually 3D print the case in a color that will suit your team or whatever your...
And the names.
Yeah, and whatever your name is and stuff like that will pop up on the screen as a splash screen at the start. So that device is specific to your team. Nobody else in the world will have it. They might have the same thing, but it won't look exactly the same.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
He said he's also happy to come back on at any stage as well.
We will have him on. In fact, we've got so many people that want to come back on. We've got the girls from Soul Sisters Supernatural over in New York. They want to come back on. Barry Fitzgerald from Ghost Hunters International. He's keen to come back on. Joe Frankie, who is from the Warren Legacy Foundation. He wants to come back on. Ray Doherty, the Australian Yowie researcher, he wants to come back on. We've got even Graham Phillips, he wants to come back on, but getting a couple of them locked in is a bit more difficult, but we are working on it.
There's even a ranch owner that we're trying to,
Hold on.
The ranch owner has already agreed to come back on, but he's sort of he's cancelled every time we've got to it, and it's only because he's so busy. And everybody knows the ranch I'm going to be talking about.
Mm.
Actually, also, I recall very well, and it just fits in through what Dion was the very first question. It was about how Gary got into the paranormal, and you started talking about UFOs. I recall Lala Bright and her boyfriend, husband, who wanted to jump back on also.
Yes. Yeah, he's ex-C. Well, I'm not going to say which one it is, even though I've just already started to blurt it out. But he's from one of the letter agencies in America. He is a ex-special agent, and he'll never go into classified information, but he certainly knows that there is stuff out there which is not of public. Yeah, it's not open to the public anyway at the moment.
And Lala Bright is an abductee.
Yeah.
So, yeah. We've had an amazing year.
We have.
Look, I've been in contact with some very popular, or tried to be in contact with some very popular people that have worked in these areas that people know about, and I'm still trying.
Well,
to get through.
MJ has just brought up a thing about, has anybody got an opinion on cattle mutilations? I'm going to put it out there. The guy that we are just talking about who owns a ranch,
Has a lot of them happen.
his name is Brandon Fugel, and the ranch he owns is Skinwalker Ranch. Cattle mutilations, they're weird creatures, paranormal activity, UFO activity, strange things going on there. You look up Skinwalker Ranch and you will be gone for days going down that bloody rabbit hole. In fact,
No,
there's a
not
TV.
days,
There's a
months.
TV show that's about 5 seasons in, all about Skinwalker Ranch and the experiments they're doing there at the moment.
And yes, MJ, this is the right place for all of it.
Oh look, MJ.
Yeah.
As much as we've actually had to change the podcast name several times because it fit at the time, and then we've grown.
We've
Um,
matured.
it's our horizons have expanded.
Yeah.
Hence the reason now it's just a Shadow Files podcast. We talk about anything from the paranormal,
Conspiracy
to
theories.
conspiracies, anything that people really want talked about.
We do have a ridiculously awesome episode coming up sometime soon about Jack the Ripper and all the theories around that. And Fernando's got a little bit of work to do on that before we get that one locked away. You know, that's what I'm talking about. We have to schedule a few things for that one. But anything of interest, you let us know. You know, we've done stuff on time travel. We've done stuff on alternate realities, different dimensions, ghosts, spirits, Bigfoot, cryptozoology. I saw somewhere back in the chat talking about any weird creatures. And if you're talking local stuff, you've got the Beast of PK, of Port Kennedy, which we've talked about, and that has been documented somewhere on one of the local channels as well. So, yeah, absolutely anything that's... I mean, God, we'll even go into the JFK assassination because that is some cool stuff.
I mean, yeah, that's also a conspiracy theory.
Well, it does as well. Yeah.
Well,
And then there's also just been those recent.
you go into the
There's been a
JFK, right? The JFK thing, and a lot of people said that he was going to spill the beans on the Roswell incident, and that's why he got taken out. That's one of the conspiracy theories, and a lot of it to do with the Cuban Missile Crisis, which was averted. There are so many things that are out there, but there was a TV show that came out in the 90s called Dark Skies, and that whole thing, it's all about alien infiltration of body snatching aliens, I suppose, is for lack of a better word, but they're infiltrating government and stuff like that, and that leads into ultimately getting to John F. Kennedy, and it all ends in 1963 when he's going to spill the beans, and then November 1963 when it all came down in Dealey Plaza in Dallas, Texas.
And there's also been people actually looking into it recently about these are the tunnels they could have used. It wasn't the original shooter, this, that, and the other. It takes about half an hour to get out the way. There is so much more stuff coming out.
All right, before anybody says another word, MJ just said Manhattan Alien Abduction. She just watched it. What's it like? Because I still haven't watched it. I've been looking for it, and I'm going to try and watch it this weekend. I want to know.
I mean,
because Dion said it's worth
MJ could
watching.
probably come on for an episode.
Yeah.
Sorry, MJ, just throwing you out there.
Join us. Join us.
Well, do you know what? I think we've got her captivated because she said she was going to leave about, 20 minutes ago? Still here. It's great.
It's all right. We were only supposed to go for an hour. We're 2 hours in. We're still here as well.
God, 2 hours passed by. Jeez.
You know, Fernando was supposed to start work an hour ago. He's still here. But no, it's an interesting thing.
I have to get ready for it, though.
Hey, Fernando, I'm going to be watching this back because you've got something hanging around you as well.
You know what he's talking about.
What are you moving for?
What you mean?
Who said it was in that corner? You haven't got any windows open in the house, have you? Like with a breeze coming through at the moment?
No.
Okay, cool. You'll find that curtain's moved about 6 times since we've been recording, and there's been something in that corner near the photos.
You're going to freak him out.
Fun fact, guys. As you guys know, I moved to Florida with my girlfriend, future fiance, and she has 2 kids, right? So the oldest daughter, she is 14 years old, and it seems like there might be a unexpected
Visitor?
I want to say visitor because it's been here before me, right? So it's not a visitor. Residential
Squatter?
What is it? A space taker.
Yeah, squatter.
Yeah. So yeah. So it's just funny how Jeremy brought that up. So I'm excited.
I've been meaning to say it for about the last half an hour.
You do realise I never even pushed the titles. We didn't even have our titles at the start of this. I was waiting for everybody to come in. I was going to do the titles and we were going to start the quiz, but we didn't get enough for the quiz. So, sorry,
Gary,
guys. There's no...
That's another one.
Go on.
That's another one for conspiracies, and it's an Australian one as well. They're actually trying to push for an inquiry into the Port Arthur massacre.
But everybody knows what happened there. Or do they?
Seems to be a lot of there seems to be a lot of evidence was circumstantial, and there was a lot that wasn't brought to the table to start with. This is only fresh as well. This is like the last week I've seen it. Stuff about it.
Wow, okay. Well, we'll have to keep an eye on that. Because Port Arthur is supposed to be one of the most haunted parts of Tassie and Australia as well.
There was a lot of evidence that wasn't brought forward as well.
Oh, MJ's saying was he possessed? I don't know if that's the way they would go with it, but
I think he was a scapegoat myself. But
yeah,
hey,
the Lee Harvey Oswald of Australia.
Everyone's entitled to their opinion. You don't have to agree with it, but hey,
yeah, that's him.
Well, look, why else would you have it that you can't ask him any questions about it?
Well, you look at Lee Harvey Oswald. It wasn't that long before Jack Ruby did him in, and then Jack Ruby got done over as well. Nothing like cleaning up after yourself.
Are they actually doing that, Dion, or is it just proposed talks? Because I've been saying for years they should put a bit of money into it and have it as a venue of some sort.
I heard they were doing something different with that, and they can't at the moment because it's still under. It's still got a what they call it again, the heritage listing on the place, and there's asbestos in there. That's the reason why we got so close to getting real permission to go in there, not just sneak in. We actually got so close before they pulled it on us.
In there at all.
Neither have I.
I called that.
That was not the footage that you saw of this camera in there. No, it wasn't.
Gary, I've been to that outside of that place before.
Oh
I
yeah,
didn't
we've
have
been
pants
outside.
on.
Yeah, we've been outside. Even this camera's been outside. It's very good because it's infrared. So you turn it on, wait for it to click in, and when you put it in the right move, hang on, where's it gone?
So
See,
so
there
that
you go. It
means
records all night vision and everything, and
that MJ,
it goes through walls.
that place is haunted. I can attest to that. But the stories that you've heard, actually, no, I think it's confirmed as well, isn't it, Gary, with what happened with the two people there? Off to where, do you know where you go down, jump across? Oh, no, don't worry about that. One of the access points I've heard people use where the two people passed
Oh, the one where you got to
from an attacker.
get your leg up a bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one, yeah.
Well, I
Was there
don't know
not
what
two
you're
people
talking
taken out
about,
there?
but yes,
Was there not two people killed there?
in that room just behind it, yeah.
Hmm.
And there have been 4 murders in that tunnel that I don't know anything about.
Yes.
And there have been at least now confirmed 11 suicides in the building.
I think that latest one where they said that kid fell, that wasn't a fall.
No. And I can. All right, here's an absolutely creepy story for you before we do have to go, because we're going to have to go in a minute. When we were not there one night, this is going to be hard to say.
Hang on, is this the one that you're talking about where other people were inside when you weren't?
No, that's not a creepy one. That's just a funny one, that. But,
You have to share that one too.
all right, well, we'll start with the creepy one. You remember the old gas lamps? That used to be like that.
Gary invented them.
Anyway, we were walking around the outside of it one night when
Working for Nando.
we heard a noise and we looked up, and I shit you not, there was a guy right up on the roof, leaning over the edge with an old gas light looking like that. He was wearing the yellow oilskin hat and the oilskins that you saw on deep sea fishermen, and he was giving it that. I just had flashbacks to every one of those scary films of the Hookman and, you know, I Know What You Did Last Summer and shit like that. And I crap you not, grown men and the women that were in the team, we were hiding in the bushes because we didn't want that light to shine on us. And then we would start to walk, and then suddenly he was on the other side of the building doing the same thing. I don't know how anybody can move that fast, okay? So I don't know what that was up there, but that is one of the urban legends of that place about the man up there. And that was, yeah, that absolutely scared the crap out of us. But how do I tell this story? I suppose I've told it before.
Yeah, you have.
We were in there one night. It was just on the tail end of a cyclone that just sort of clipped. So it was pretty stormy outside. There is possibly footage somewhere. Anyway, we were in there and we were under night vision conditions because we didn't want any torches shining around. And we were doing a bit of an investigation up at the top of the stairs that I don't know anything about. And we heard these voices coming from outside. So, of course, naturally, we got to have a look to make sure that it's not security coming past. And it was these two young blokes, right? They would have been 17, 18, something like that, with two young girls. And they were talking this, oh, yeah, we're going to go looking for ghosts. Every one of us knew that they were out to get into those girls' pants, right? That's exactly what was trying to happen. Now, we knew where they were going to come in because there was only said place that Jeremy was talking about where two people died. Allegedly. So that's the way in. So they've got in, and then we're hearing them coming around to this staircase. Now, the staircase, I am led to believe, goes up, and then it goes up like a Y and around, okay?
Oh, we've seen photos on the internet.
Yes, I've seen photos on the internet. And there's a doorway at the top on your right-hand side as you walk up the stairs, allegedly. And I was just inside that room. Shit, I just killed it. Anyway, Yeah. And what was happening was these guys were all this, oh, yeah, you know, we ain't afraid of no ghosts. And they're doing all this kind of macho talk. I just said, I can't resist this. I've got to do it. I've got night vision on, so I can see in the dark. He's coming up the steps. And as he walks in, I just turn around and I go, g'day. He shat himself, and the pitch that came out of him was a scream more like a... Oh, I didn't push the button.
A 6-year-old girl, he was high-pitched. He shit himself big time.
I wasn't
I
able
missed
to
all of
hear
that as well.
Yeah.
He shit himself, absolutely screamed in a pitch that I can't actually reach. And then that was it. We couldn't stop laughing. The girls didn't give him any talk, because when he screamed, went back, the other guy screamed, the girls screamed. But then they started laughing. And then they said, what are you doing? I said, oh, well, we're all ghost hunting, and we got the night vision stuff and everything. So these two guys got absolutely thrown to the side, and these girls were following us around for the rest of the night while we were doing our investigation stuff. And I'm pretty sure they weren't getting any after that. So, yeah, we had a bit of a laugh. We had
So
a
even,
laugh.
even in the tunnel where you got your little safety bays where you pop into it, the tunnel.
Yep.
I had I just, not even thinking about it, I just jumped in one of those just to, clear myself, self-center. And, just people randomly walking past. I didn't say anything. I just got my head down. They're like, oh, shit, didn't even see you in there.
Yeah.
It's like, well, yeah, it happens.
There's so much stuff that happens in that tunnel. And I told everybody that story about the work experience devil worshippers. I tell them that every time we go there. And it proved the point when we went there this time, and there was actually a pentagram drawn on the floor. And that's where we chose to set up.
It was warm in that circle.
It was. It was
You
the
felt
whole
difference inside and
area.
out. You felt the difference.
What I couldn't get over from that was that we were doing everything that we were doing around that pentagram, and yes, we cock blocked them. Yeah, doing everything around that pentagram. I didn't know what was going on outside. I had to go out and have a bit of a tinkle. As I went outside, it was pouring down. Now, normally you hear all that, but whatever was going on around that on the floor, it was like it put a cone of silence around everything else. It was a very, very strange thing. And like I said, everybody that was there that night knows what happened. And I don't think everybody's going to tell everybody about it, but I think there was a few people walked away from that like, wow, that is way more than I expected for a public hunt. Because I always say we go to sort of less active locations to see how people deal with everything, and then we work out who is ready to go to a more active and potentially dangerous location. And I think Dion's pretty close to that. And yeah, that opened everybody's eyes up. So, you know what it's like. You go on a paranormal investigation. It's either going to happen, it's not going to happen. You can't control it. You're just at the beck and call of whatever's going on that night.
Dion, you wait till myself, Gary, and Jay get teamed up with each other. It's a bucket of laughs. Maybe half of what should be done gets done, but we still get stuff.
Yeah.
I can't wait to go out there.
It's next level, man. We're like 4 kids wearing helmets with a packet of fresh crayons, man. Like.
with a whole load of red cordial and bloody twisties. I've already actually given Dion an invitation to the next time we go down to Albany if he wants to come.
Yep.
Because I think he would fit in well with everybody doing the investigation stuff there. So it's like going to the morgue and the isolation hospital and a lot of those other places. Go back and have a look at some of the footage from our Albany investigation earlier this year. The video is up on this channel somewhere, and you'll be blown away. And even if you get through towards the end, we do the Estes method, and there's something that happens just before that. Is it just before that or after that on the video? I can't remember. I think it was just before that. And in the morgue, that is undeniable proof that there is paranormal activity there. I can't say any more than that. Even right from the start, stuff was going on that we did catch on video because I was actually TikToking at the time, which sounds weird coming from me because I'm too old to be TikToking, but I thought I'd give it a whirl. And
No.
yeah, so it's definitely gonna happen again soon. I actually have to look at booking Albany again soon and having a word with that guy because he said he's going to give us the keys and he's going to open up the original hospital building, which is sealed shut, so we have access to that. So that would be good. Anyway, I think it is. I think it's time.
We've been going for 2 hours, and the chat has just actually been amazing to have interaction.
Look, there's only
Yeah.
well, Adam was in there for a bit, but it's mainly been MJ and Dion.
I think
That you've been awesome.
we should tease a little and throw out at least one of the power questions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, if you want to do that,
least
do
one.
you want to throw?
Uh,
All right,
Well,
first
are
up,
you
hang on.
gonna put a prize out, are you, Fernando?
Hang on. First up, all right. No, don't go just yet. We're going to do a quick test. So your buzzer is just type in me, just say me. Okay, so I want you both to go me and enter it right now and see who's the first. Get off, Jerry.
I win.
You got a bloody
win.
20-second delay. I was going to say, that was quick. Oh, bugger off.
Oh, look, there's no prizes for second, mate.
Well, there's no prizes for you anyway because you MJ's in. Okay, all right. Poor Dion, he's really slow with the. MJ's done it twice. Dion hasn't yet. What's going on, Dion? You're letting the team down. MJ's first, second, third, fourth, and fifth at the moment. Dion's
man.
still not there, so there's not much point. All right, what question is it you want to ask? Because I have a feeling MJ's going to win anyway. By the way, no, shit is not the question. All right, so there's no prizes on this one at the moment, but as a special thing, we'll give you guys first shot when the new shirts come out. All right, what question do you want to throw at them?
Nah, I mean we could start with the very first one.
All right. For all, hang on, how many are there's 6 people watching, but there's only 2 in the chat. Dion, MJ. Question number 1. What is the name of this podcast? Go. Now we got to wait. We got to wait 30 seconds. The delay. Who's gonna get in first? The suspense is killing me. It hasn't moved. I've got. Oops, sorry. No, you answer with the name. The me was a test. Just type the name.
She goes me.
Oh,
me.
Dion's got me as well. Yeah, this quiz would have been. MJ would have won that. It looks like she's what's she done there? She's even done it with a little orange thing on the back. All right, we'll just have a bit of a mess around. Okay, question number 2. Now, answer with the name of what? Answer with the answer to the question, not with your name. Okay. Question number 2. What is the full name of our team here in WA? It'll take them half an hour to type this in, by the way. Bunning Snags. Oh.
Fernando's probably like, what's a snag?
What's a snag? Yeah.
No, I was like, yo, who the hell is this guy, Woodchuck?
That's Jeremy's biker name. All right, I think they've gone to sleep.
happens.
I think they've gone to sleep. There's nothing happening.
No. It's called research. But Jeremy,
How hard is it? You're both members of it on Facebook.
Rangers Mind and Corp.
Hang on.
Oh, there you
Where's the
go.
Australian Founder? Well, Dion got the full name correct, and MJ even got the initials wrong.
Hey, half a point for trying.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
No, it's still wrong.
My net is laggy.
Oh, Dion's already sort of won that one anyway.
Oh man.
All right, let's just do one more just as a bit of fun. Yes, Dion did get that one. All right, here we go. Here's one for you. I want you to type this in. What is the address of the Amityville Horror House? Oh,
Electric Avenue.
you know. I mean, you got the answers there anyway, so. That's a lot of bullshit for one quickie. Emma's already given up.
One quickie, hey.
Quickie.
That looked like more
So
like he's
Gary
having an
said.
epileptic fit, but
I thought Michael J. Fox was trying to type hello.
I was just saying, thank God it wasn't Tourette's.
That's so fucked.
Do you know, Fernando? Do you know that Michael J. Fox is great at making martinis and not stealing tambourinis?
All right. This one it seems to be too hard for everybody. They can't find the address of the Amityville house, or they've both dropped off the internet. This is why we need at least 10 people in the competition. Well, MJ came close, but she hasn't given us the number.
I mean, I've been there and I can't even get.
All
the
right,
number
well,
of-
we'll give that one to MJ just for trying. It's not actually Ocean Ave, Amy Tutville. It's actually 112 Ocean Ave, Amityville. That's what happens when people start typing fast. You get little.
Come on, she
That's what I
got
said.
it,
She's
she
got it.
it.
We'll give that one to her. So she's winning. We'll give one more little. All right. What is
Tiebreaker as a
so?
tiebreaker.
Just type in the word. What is the German name for a noisy spirit?
Flügelheimer.
I
that's
got
the
some
safe word.
sauerkraut on my lederhosen. I've got lederhosen. I did. I did it.
Du hast mich.
What,
Oh, man.
you quoting some Rammstein?
Yes.
Yeah, that's an awesome song, Du hast.
Yes. I don't know what's going on in MJ's mind. We're getting some. Yay! Oh, Dion won that one.
Woo!
MJ went. I did it. 11.
Oltagi jest.
Oh, I don't know. I'm kind of enjoying this, but no prizes at the moment. But let's see.
Shame we didn't. Oh, do you know what, Gary? I might make up a few sticker packs when I get a chance, and Dion and MJ can both have one.
ADHD fingers. Oh man, that's great.
Well,
That's great.
I am looking at doing another shirt order in the next week or two. So keep your eye on the. Hang on, what did she call it? The WAPOL, the WA Association of. Yeah, if you keep your eye on that page, you'll see some of the WAPA t-shirts going up. But we might change them a little bit.
We might have to get our faces cartoonized onto a shirt with the Shadow Files podcast, the three of us.
I actually received an email from some dude that does caricatures and stuff like that, and he's asked if we want to pay to get.
I've got a friend of mine that could probably do it for nothing.
Oh, that's even better.
I was actually looking at his
Gherkin?
work, yeah. Can you imagine
Gherkin?
our heads cartoonized and supersized, put together.
Hey,
The Shadow
mine's
Files
already
podcast.
supersized. I don't know what it's just going to. Mine's just going to look like a big fucking balloon blown. Oh, I swore. Blown up.
Gherkin.
Oh my god.
Where did gherkin come from?
Oh man.
I want to place an order, so let me know the choice of. Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, I'll be putting them up in the next week. So I will probably look at doing an order by the end of next week. I will be getting the prints sorted, and then I'll have to get people's sizes and who wants them and stuff like that, because I think there's a few people wanting them this time.
Yes.
The first lot was just a bit of a test run, and it was very successful. So I'm gonna do a Shadow Files shirt, which is, if you look at the writing down the side of the screen where it says the Shadow Files podcast, it's just going to be that across the front. So that's going to be one of the designs, and then we'll do a few WAPA designs. I know the Reaper one was successful, the Skull one was, and then the girls will like the cute Ghost one. So WAPR with the R on the end for researcher.
Gary, I wouldn't mind a shirt with the logo the way it is that goes down, say, a left side like that.
Yeah, well, when I order the prints come the same size, so I can do that if you want. I can do a few different size options.
Yeah, because the way it's laid out there, it's like that'd be pretty cool. Like,
Well, I like that. I was actually looking at that and thinking of doing something like that, and then just having
you can
having the little headphones and microphone logo on this side, and then that
You could-
running down the side.
so even if you had that little ghost with the face here, and then down the spine of the back, it's the Shadow Files written the exact same way.
I'm not putting anything on the back, so that was too much last time.
Oh yeah.
But on the front, down the side, like what I did with the original WAPA hoodies, vertical down the side.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if you wanted it down the back, I could do it, but
Oh, a gherkin. Yes, it's not a poltergeist, it's now a gherkin.
ah.
Oh man.
I
See,
was
if,
trying to figure out, I'm looking at the chat going, a gherkin? Where did gherkins come into this?
every time you ask me about the beanies, I look down to grab one, but it's in the car.
It doesn't leave your car.
I've got two of them. I've got three beanies in the car. I've got the alien one, then I've got two WAPA ones, the one that glows in the dark, and I've got the red one. So, no, the beanies will not be happening until probably March, April time next year. So,
I mean, if you get them now and put them away, then you've got them for winter to sell, then you're not waiting on orders.
you got to wait for them anyway, because I've got to get it to make them.
Mm.
So, but yeah,
Oh, this has been an interesting 2 hours.
it is, and I think it is time for us to go. So,
Thank you, both of you.
thank you very much for coming in,
Yes.
and we will stop this. So we will sign out with our little music, even though we didn't sign in with any. We're going to sign out the right way. But I hope you guys like the new little live chat setup that we've got, because it's a bit different to the last time we did a live stream, and I really like this. So I think we'll keep it like this for a bit. Anyway, have a good weekend, everybody, and keep chatting in the WAPA page as well. That's WAPR, not WAPA. And let's see if we can't get a load of people in here. Oh, that would be a different one. Sorry, the WAPA shirts. Yeah, we've got WAPA shirts with writing on the back, but they cost a bit more because there's a bit more work involved in doing both sides. But we've got WAPA shirts done front and back and stuff. I'll put some of the images up on the page so you can have a look. But the WAPA shirts would be different to the Shadow Files, so you can either buy a WAPA shirt or you can buy a Shadow Files, or you can buy both if you want. It doesn't bother me. And it depends on how many orders we get in as to what price we can do. But they're all going to be around that $35 or something like that, which is the standard price for shirts these days. But anyway, it is time to go, and stay tuned for our show. It's coming out next Tuesday. That'll be a good one. Anyway, take it easy, guys.
Have a good one, guys. Be safe.
See you later.